Hello everyone, thanks for stopping by. This video will explain what freeware is, it'll explain what poor documentation is, it'll also explain how to download and use certain features of a program called Paint Ribbon. So the question on many people's minds when they first hear about freeware is, well, what is freeware? Well, you have come to the right place to know the answer. Freeware is basically software that can be downloaded from the internet, is easy to find, and often contains features that are extremely good and come with no cost at all. The example of a freeware program that I'll be using today is Paint Ribbon. Although many people may prefer buying the shareware or commercial software for their reliable sources and known manufacturers, freeware is also reliable, and it does in some cases offer a built-in manual. Though like everything else in life, free isn't always free, and in this case, what was thought is free is not exactly perfect. In contrast to commercial and shareware software, which have very good documentation and many tutorials and guides on how to use the program, freeware programs do not always have good documentation, may not even have any at all. But what is documentation anyways? Software documentations can be many things. It can be printed documents that provide written instructions for installing the software on a computer's hard disk. Also, documentation can come in the form of tutorial manuals and reference manuals that explain how to use the software. In addition, help files and online help are also available and can be accessed through the local help files or at the company's website. As I mentioned before, the example I'll be using today is Paint Ribbon. To download the program, visit the website www.download.com. Once there, go to the search box and type in Paint Ribbon. The following screen should load. The first result should read the name, and this should be the icon. From there, click on the button that says Download Now. This screen should load. A few seconds later, after the page loads, a pop-up should appear, similar to this one. Click on it, and then click on where it says Download File. From there, save, and then install the program using the pop-up that will appear. Once the program finishes installing, exit everything, and then open your Downloads folder, and click on the Paint Ribbon folder. Another file will appear. It will have the same name. Once there, click on it. You'll get a list of things. Click on the one that says Paint Ribbon, and where it says Type, it should say Application. This should then run the program. Wait, so what now? I don't know. So basically now that you have your program opened, you can start editing your photo. For the example I'm doing today, I'm going to be editing a photo using Google. So I'm going to type in dentist braces. And I'm going to use this photo. So I click on it. I click Save Picture As. And then I'm going to save it as dentist. So now that I have my photo ready, I can go to the program, click File, Open, go to my pictures, and click on the picture. So now that I have my picture ready, I can start editing. So the basic functions in this program are like the select tools. You have your basic paste, copy, screenshot tools. Here you have your main tools like the erase tool, the pan tool, and the image tools and shapes. So I'm going to start off by showing you what the wand can do. The wand basically selects areas with similar colors. So now that I have the area I want selected, I can use this tool to resize the selected area, or I can move it around. I can also go to Filter and click Invert, so it inverts the select from the part that was selected to the background. And I can actually delete the background to leave this. To reselect this, I can go to this Select button, and now I can move this area. So now that I've showed you that, I can now show you the screenshot. So the screenshot basically screenshot of what is behind this application, not what is on the application. So for example, now this is behind the application. So if I go to here and click screenshot, it will paste the screenshot. And if I don't want that, I just click delete. Now that that's out of the way, I can show you different ways to zoom into the picture. Firstly, you can basically just go to View, click Zoom In, and then go to Home and click the Pan tool in order to move around the picture. And click View again, and click Zoom Out to zoom out of the picture. The Pan tool cannot be used if you are not zoomed in, because basically there's nothing to navigate around. And another way to zoom into a picture is by using this tool. This tool is basically the same thing, though you can actually choose the area, a specific area that you want to zoom into. So for example, if I want to zoom into this area, I just click on that specific area. And to zoom out, you just right click and it zooms out. So that's another way. And a last way to do that is to resize the canvas. Resizing the canvas basically means that you're not resizing the actual image, but you're resizing what's behind the image. So it's this that you're actually resizing. So for example, I'll type in 200 instead of 100. Now my canvas is bigger than my image. So moving away from the zoom, you can also rotate your canvas, meaning you could rotate it to the right at a 90-degree angle, could rotate it to the left a 90-degree angle. You can rotate it 180 degrees, so it's basically upside down. So you can also crop the image by resizing the canvas. So for example, I want to crop this area out. And then resizing it back to the original size. So another thing you can use is the erase tool. The erase tool can come in handy when you're working with layers actually. So for example, if I'm working with a layer on top of this one, so if I go to add new layer, for example, and then I decide to color in this layer, or to use, for example, the drawing tool, and paint this area, for example, and I made a mistake, so I want to go back and erase this. Other than that, working on the same layer, so if I were to remove this layer, it's a delete layer, and do that same thing, and do that same thing over here. So if I color this in, and I try to use the erase tool to actually erase what I did, you end up erasing the actual image. so it wouldn't be a good idea to work with the same layer. In addition, you can also go to the filter and change the picture to grayscale. So you remove all the colors from it and it just becomes black and white. So the tools we haven't talked about yet are the text tool. You can add text wherever you want to in this photograph. So for example, I want to add it here, and I want to say I can actually select this and customize it however I want to. You can change the font, make it whatever you want. Change the font size. And you can also move it around. So I don't want this anymore, so I just click undo. And another tool that I find extremely handy is this tool. This tool basically, if you go to an area and select it, the color that this area has will be selected in your color wheel. So for example, here the tooth, the color is selected here. So what I can use this for is I can go to the drawing tool and I can actually remove the braces bit by bit because it's the same color and it doesn't show. And I can keep on changing the color accordingly. So for example, this area is kind of darker, so I would go darker and then I'd draw. So I can keep on doing this and show you this as an example. You can also change the transparency of the color. So if you want to make it more transparent, it's easier to work with because then you can layer it on top. So you can see that's dark, it's really dark. But if I make it more transparent, I can actually work with layers and it looks more realistic and it kind of gives you a very nice blending effect. See how that's blending really smoothly? So you can see over here I kind of went out, so I can also use this to correct my mistakes. So I can take the color and I can use drawing tool, make it more transparent, and then go over this part. Because in this case, if I use the eraser, it would actually erase the image, so that would not be a good idea. You can see the braces are not visible anymore, so you can actually use this to change your image however you want. If I zoom out, it doesn't even show. You can also add in shapes. So for example, here I added a square. And if you add a new layer, you can add in some more, because if I change this and it's in the same layer, so if I for example, try to erase this, it wouldn't erase. But if I try to erase these, it would just erase off of the image. So I still don't recommend using the same layer. Well, there you have it. The basics of the program Paint Ribbon and a brief introduction to freeware. Hope you enjoyed watching, and please fill out the survey about the video by following the link in the caption. And thank you for watching.